Good day sanibonani ninjani. My name is Mpumelelo Kamshengu Shabala Lukaku Tongala Mavos Amhlophe Efisena kuba kuyena. So on today's episode, I just want to speak about what a good contract looks like here in China versus a bad contract. So I'm gonna try and make this video very short, and also just an update. Thank you for those who have been liking, subscribing to my channel on YouTube, and also following me on TikTok, and those who are interested in also doing business. Some of them did contact me via Instagram and also by Facebook and on inboxes. So thank you so much. Do remember to like, comment, subscribe, and do what you need to do in all these social media platforms. So yeah, on today's video, I just want to talk about what does a good contract look like in China. So first of all, you're gonna have a housing. I've done a video where I explain the different types of cities where you have T1 city, T2, T3, T4. So T1, it's the famous Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, Guangzhou. These are the economic hub or cities or regarded as big cities. I didn't make an example. You could take them as Johannesburg. You can take them as Cape Town and also Durban, number T1. And then number T2 cities are like the mini cities within the big cities, things like Pretoria, things like Opine Town in Durban. These smaller cities like Richards Bay. So these are regarded as the T2 cities here in China, which are one of the best cities to live in if you're working here as a foreigner, based on the amount of salary you're going to get and also the amount of the cost of living you're going to face in these T2 cities. So first of all, when it comes to housing, housing must be at least 3,000 kwai. So the school must provide with you 3,000 kwai per month for a housing. This is because most of housing or flats in T2 cities, they range between 2.5 up to 3.5 on average. So you could get like a one bedroom, a two bedroom. For instance, we are living in a two bedroom and we are paying 3,000 kwai. So it's a very modern bedroom. It has all the basic and the best Western facilities inside the apartment, which is like the bathroom, the toilets that people always fuss about. So you just pay 3,000. So if the school provides you 3,000, that is a good thing. And if they give you less than that, that means you're gonna take out something from your salary to pay chaplain should die. So one, housing, at least able 3,000 to 2.5, at least uzoyithola mhlambe one bedroom apartment if you're alone. And then number two, you have the airfare reimbursement. So some schools, they do give you flight allowance or reimbursements because you're going to fly from South Africa, you're going to land here in China. You're more in China, then they're going to give you a reimbursement of the flight amount. Usually they have a standard cost like 5,000 kwai or up to 10,000 kwai. So I know for the schools I've worked previously on, the highest I've received when it comes to flight allowance was I think 12,000 kwai, which was 6,000, 6,000. So half semester six, and then at the end bring was six. And yeah, some schools they do give you 5,000, some they give you four, the lowest I've seen, but on average it's mostly 5,000 kwai up to 8,000 kwai. So if a school gives you a flight allowance of this amount, then you are sorted. The contract is kind of good and is on your side. And also another important factor is when it comes to holiday pay. So in China you have two very long holidays. You have the summer holidays, which are in January and February. These are usually like 3 weeks to 1 month. Some schools they don't pay, and some schools they do pay. And you also have winter holidays, which are in July, August, or June, July, which are 2 months long. So you'd find that some schools for 2 months they do not pay a salary during these holidays, whereas some schools do pay. So a good contract would at least give you 50% of your salary during the 2 months, and also some schools they give you 75%. It depends on how you negotiate. And the base contract is the one that gives you a full salary for 2 months without doing anything. So if you find a school at least that gives you from 50% up to 100% during a holiday, then there is a good contract. And then also when it comes to a salary, I've done a video when we speak about salaries in different cities. If you are in a T2 city, if Bezongniga at least 20,000, between 20,000 to 30,000, that is a good salary for someone who's also returning and not new here in China. If you are in T1 city, anything above 24, 25, then that is a good contract. T3, T4, maybe 18 because the cost of living is very cheap in those cities. It's still a good contract, but on average, if you're gonna leave a T2 city, because many foreigners leave a T2 city or T1 cities, at least try and get anything between 20, 22, 24, 26, yeah, Boganja, just around those numbers, then that is considered a good contract. And also, I did a video, I think I uploaded previously before this one. So do check it out where I speak about the possibilities of the ESL industry coming to an end maybe in the next 4 or 5 years. So when it comes to a salary right now, it is very important to you gather as much as you can. And also the last part is when it comes to e-bonus. So some schools they do give e-bonus after the completion of your contract. They give you at least maybe 50% of your salary, or they give you an extra 100% towards your salary. So if you are getting 20,000 kwai as a salary, if bonus at the end of the contract will be only 20,000, that means at the end of your contract they're gonna give you 40,000 kwai for just completing your contract. And also if you renew, they're gonna give you something. So some schools do have that. Iy'kole that do not have these structures or benefits such as bonus, flight allowance, usually they have like the highest salaries. I know some schools they're gonna give you like 28,000, 30,000 per month, but they're not gonna give you like completion bonus. They're not gonna give you or airfare reimbursement. They're just gonna give you housing and they give you a high salary and then listen to Benganik. So Chinese also play around when it comes to these things. So you just need to calculate what is gonna be more beneficial to you. A lower salary but with all these benefits, or they just give you a high salary and then you spread and buy your own fare tickets and so on. So do check out these things. And then obviously a bad contract or 12,000 angifuni ukuyikhuluma loo nto, 11,000, 13,000. Come on, man, it's 2023, we're heading to 2024. Cost of living inyukile, and also things just went up bits like China. But igrosa nje usunokuthi uthenge ubhaskithi ukhiphe 150 kwai stititi. So things are getting a bit more expensive. I don't even want to speak about the situation back in South Africa. So the cost of living, gears of the banks are increasing interest rates, so when it comes to bad contracts, you can't move from South Africa to China who's 11,000 kwai or 12,000 yen just because you're not employed in South Africa. It's a setback. And also, if they're going to give you like, 1,000, 1.5 for housing, and they're also going to give you a lower salary, that means you have to cough up 1,000 from your salary to add to your housing. Like 10,000. So bad contracts are obvious. I don't even want to dwell on bad contracts because I've been saying in many platforms what are the bad contracts. So yeah, and also when it comes to holiday pay, schools that don't pay during holidays, there are schools that don't pay during holidays. So imagine you go to 2 months, you're not gonna get any salary. 2 months, you have to cough up bonus for not a bonus, you have to cough up like the next 3 months payment year end, because here in China, year end we cock after every 3 months. So if you rent 3,000 kwai, that means you're gonna pay 9,000 kwai upfront from January up until March, and then March you keep on 3,000, 9,000 kwai for the next 3 months up until June. So that's how things are. You're just gonna cough up 9,000, 9,000, 9,000. And also another good contracts, if they're gonna give you a free housing or apartment by the school, which is close to the school where you just walk to campus, there is also a best option whereby you don't have to take OTD, you don't have to take a subway, you just walk to school. So if they give you contracts and the apartment or a free apartment is very close to a school, that is a good contract. Danko.